we sit out in the garden and have dinner together. And
Nice.
if it's not too bad, I will sit by in like a bay window in the living room,
Right.
and I will. The windows are fully open. I'm almost shivering at night with that. But then we watch like an hour of something, and then I disappear again. We're watching Vikings at the moment. I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah, but otherwise, I've just been in this room for the last. Oh, feels like an eon. It's good though. My productivity is through the roof.
Oh, right. Well, that's good then.
Well, I can't do anything in the house, so the things that would usually distract me, I'm like, well, can't do that. So my brain's completely like locked it off, and oh wow, yeah. I've been pulling the equivalent, I suppose, of a double shift, but I can just go, oh, I'm a bit tired now. Go have a nap, wake up again, just continue. It's about 2 o'clock, and I was sat here. I was like, I feel faint, and I'm not sure if it's because I've got COVID or whether it's because my room's hot. It's gone down to 31.5 degrees at the computer at the moment. I'm like, oh, if only I didn't have such a powerful beast.
Yeah.
This is the one disadvantage of it. It kicks out so much heat, even when you're not doing anything.
I was playing Sea of Thieves earlier with a friend, and like you know when the heat builds up slowly, you don't really notice how hot it is until like my dad opened the door to say goodbye because he was heading off to work, and like this freezing blast of air comes in because like the rest of the house has been cooled by the air conditioning, and he's like, "What is going on in here?" Just like this heat box.
Okay.
Oh, Charan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. India.
It's hot here too.
Wow.
Charan's like, you guys.
Yeah.
Even my mom and dad are like, used to the air conditioning unit, and I'm like sitting in front in the hall with no fan, just with my PC, which is hot sometimes. I'm like, it's nothing. I feel really cool when I go to the room.
Did you get your computer sorted in the end?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, finally.
It's been so long. Like, I mean, I've been using this for now 4 or 5 months continuously.
I know you got it and you were like having problems.
Oh yeah, I was so depressed back then. I was not at all productive. But once this came, it's all productivity.
Yeah.
It's a little bit dusty at the moment. I'm really scared to even touch it. It's not because of the dust. It's because what if I, do something to it? And so I'm just let it be there. I'll clean this next Sunday or something.
Yeah, if something goes wrong, it's going to be such a hassle to get that sorted out.
Oh no, once what happened was my screen started flickering. I was like, what the heck is going on? And then it was just the loose connection of the what is this monitor? It's not the CPU. I was like, not the CPU, please. It's not. Doesn't matter where, because I can at least connect I can change the monitor, like I can use the TV or something, but not the CPU.
Yeah. Oh well. Good that you've got it all running. When's the next video, Charan?
Oh god, I'm working on it so much now. Like, I mean, the more I work on the script, the more obsessed I become with the perfectionist. The perfectionist in me, like, Charan, you might understand this, but will a beginner understand this? No. So rewrite the whole thing. And I was in call with Yoshi and the other day, and I was just telling what I was writing. And Yoshi pointed out, like, Charan, I don't think so. This is the exact definition of it. And yeah, I was actually wrong. So I had to rewrite the whole script again. Because there was this one small... I mean, it makes sense, but only for the positive numbers, but not for the negative numbers, whatever I said. So again, I had to like do it again. It took a hassle, but it's 90% done. Not the video, the script. The script.
Yeah.
The 10% is the hard part. Yeah.
I mean, you're dealing in a subject that you can't cover everything whenever you start a new video.
Yeah.
And you're also dealing with something that's so broad and wide that how do you know where someone is? So it's kind of, today we're going to be talking about vectors. If you're unsure what these things are, or we're going to be using vectors, I've done a video on vectors. If you don't want to know what one is,
you just got to point them back to other videos and cover yourself that way, because it's you can't.
Yeah, the problem here is
you're never gonna appease everybody. You're always gonna get haters, and you just gotta like talk to the people that you actually care about and be like, all right, this is what we're doing. You know what? Like the rest, whatever.
I mean, it's more
Yeah.
like for me, I have like a really nice way to visualize stuff and everything because I made like really nice tools with nodes. But when it comes to the math, I mean, definitions are fine. You can literally Google them and you can literally put them over there. That's not a problem. The problem is, how can I explain this? Like, how can I explain the use cases of this? I mean, when I look at the graphs, I know like, okay, I can use this graph here, but I need to explain that for absolute beginner, which is really hard. I
Hmm.
was never expecting this much hard work going through writing the script. I mean, I have 4 people proofreading it. One is Aaron. Like literally after every single sentence, I'm sending it to him. And do you think people will understand this? He's like, yeah, they will. Just go on. It's like, no.
That's cool.
So because even Aaron don't want to do the vector math series, he's just gonna point out to my videos in the future whenever he's doing his stuff. So I'm actually working on for everyone, like, so that this is like a actual documentary, not document. What is it called? The go-to way to vector math
That's
videos
good.
or something.
Yeah.
That's what they should be. Like it's like everybody should just, if I ever use any of it, I'll just funnel people back to your stuff. I'll just be like, go watch this, and then come back.
Yeah.
Like
One
I don't
thing.
even have a full grasp of vector math. I'm like, I use what I need when I need it, and if I don't like remember everything. I have to look at. I'm
Yeah.
constantly like, even at work, I'm like looking stuff up that I like something I used like 3 months ago, and I'll be like, oh wait, what is that again? I don't know. Okay, it's cosine, sine, tangent, arc tangent. What is this? And I have to look it up again,
Hmm.
and then I have to
Yeah.
like relearn it. It's like if you don't use it all the time, it goes away.
Yeah. To be honest, like that's actually really true. But then what I'm going through is like, how much math I should actually put into this series. It's like I can explain everything in a very mathematical way and it'll make perfect sense. I don't have to explain a single word, but then the more math you put, the more boring it gets. I mean, it's the fact, like, what can I do? And I'm actually like so happy that it's almost 90% done. But what I felt was, 3 Blue 1 Brown, did I mention him before? He
Yeah.
literally released a video one day before, like, why aren't you making math videos online? Literally the title of the video. And he goes to like, you send your math stuff to us so that we can put out on our channel like a shout out if you like your stuff. It should be unique. It should be hyper specific or something, like it should explain the beauty of math, like the videos which you do. Like not everyone there are really good videos without like with very good explanation, but with no perfect presentation. But then if you can manage to do that, and if you send the videos to us, he's gonna upload that to his channel and give a shout out or something. I was like,
That
this, I think, I mean, I don't want like, it's like the video is not only about giving a shout out, it's more like giving you an idea like how to make math videos, like, how to find that middle ground and how he approaches making those videos. It really like helped me a lot, like to think what I should do next. So I know what I should do next, even though like I'm not going to make only math videos, but I'm planning to make actual math videos, like, like proper, take one function and go through the full math. I was actually
yeah,
planning to do that. I had so many ideas.
yeah.
But yeah, it's just I need to like implement them. So weird.
The math, yeah, that math stuff is awesome, and I don't think a lot of artists quite get, like, the higher up you get in this field, like the more you start using math. And I hated math in high school. I couldn't stand it. I sucked at it because I never memorized like the base formulas. Like I never memorized the order of operations. Like if you don't memorize the order of operations, you can't do algebra. It just doesn't work. You have to
Yeah.
everyone has to, like, when algebra was made, it's like, okay, we all have to assume that this is how you do the order. This is how the order goes. If you do it this way, this technology works. If you don't wire it this way, the technology doesn't work. And like the math is technology, right? So it's like I never memorized that. So for me, it was like once I got it, I was like, oh.
Yes.
I'd be a rocket scientist right now, or something, or a
Exactly.
doctor, or what, like a psychiatrist or something. Like I would have gone to med school or whatever. But I don't know, maybe I would have. But like, so worrying about explaining that to beginners is noble, because a lot of people need that, and especially artists who have skirted math their entire like academic career. it's a shock when you open up geometry nodes and you realize how much math is involved.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, just understanding attributes and how that transfers over is math and coding, right? It's left brain stuff. It's not right brain stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel your frustration in that, like, how do you make it entertaining so people just, so your videos actually do well and the effort that you're putting in actually matters, right? And then B,
Yeah.
like, how do you get that across to people where it really helps them? Yeah, it's a tough one, man.
As Kev was saying, as you get more mature into most fields these days, but art specifically, obviously, if you're on canvas, it doesn't. But the moment you start using Photoshop, and you're like, what does multiply mean, or what does screen mean? And there's actually fundamentals behind them all.
Yep.
And I found it with coding. And you're quite right. If you put something down and then pick it back up again a year later, like I almost have done with Python coding in Blender, I'm suddenly going, oh yes, oh no, I remember doing this before. And you've constantly googling on the side, which is,
Yeah.
there's no shame in not knowing absolutely everything and knowing absolutely every implementation. I mean, if you're dealing with the Blender's Python API, it's a minefield, and certain
Yeah.
things are only accessible certain ways through certain namespaces. And I'm like, but the object's there, but it's read only if I go down this namespace. And the best one that caught me out last year, didn't catch me out this year. Well, the problem caught me out, but not through my that was through my fault, not the code's fault. If you look at two different lists of objects in a scene,
Mm-hmm.
and you can access that about 3 or 4 different ways through the Python, but it's a different ordered list. So if you
Okay.
compare one list to another, I think I was doing something to do with renaming. I was like, why is everything renamed in a jumble? And it took me hours of debugging to realize that it was because this list of objects and this list of objects is not the same list of objects.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
not something that will jump out to you. And it's some people may say it's like a rookie mistake, but I didn't know. My big project over the last week was, so if you've got yourself an avatar, a character, and you've made it, you can now, with my script, you upload it to Mixamo,
Mm-hmm.
and then you download their rigged version of it, therefore it matches. But then
Oh, sweet.
if you download hundreds, if you want hundreds of animations, it will then just apply it to that character. Boom, done. And then you can export it as an FBX or a GLTF and have it ready for your game engine, or just play with it in Blender at that point. And it
Whoa, that's
also
awesome.
populates all the NLA strips. So if you wanted to use the NLA editor, all the actions are there, and you can do what you want between them. I need to double check a few things. I think I've got lots of zombie code in there, but I'm going through the final stages, so I'll be releasing that soon for free.
Nice.
It's just going to be one of those things.
Nice. Curtis made a new video too. Like he uploaded one. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
very interesting.
Oh yeah, a bit
A
weird.
green screen.
Yeah, it's behind me now. Ooh, you would never know. Yeah, no, it was cool. I just didn't know what to make for this week, and I wanted to put something out because I was getting really anxious because I was kind of passing my deadline and there was nothing good enough. So
Yeah.
I put up the green screen because I thought, oh, this could be fun, just to record something in front of it. But then I thought, okay, well, I kind of want to plan the video. But while I was standing in front of the green screen, I thought, oh, sod it, the camera's there, let's just start. So I turned on the recording, messed around for a bit, and then just said what I'd been doing. And that turned out all right. Because, if you leave it too late and if you tell yourself you're going to plan something, like, you just keep putting it off and off and off. And
Yep.
I was a bit annoyed because, like, even looking back at it, I had, like, this straggly piece of hair that I just didn't flatten. Because, I literally didn't stop to check anything. I was just like, press play, let's record.
It was a lovely organic video. It was brilliant. Lovely.
It was goofy
Yeah, I saw
as well,
that.
which I really liked,
All right. I think I'd quite like to do more videos like that just because it was more fun. But also it's
Mhm.
like the main worry about going forward with YouTube, with doing different types of development projects, is that you can't really do hyper specific things anymore because it's
Mhm.
only applicable to like a small number of people in your audience. Like, if you do something Python related that's like the Python cult, and then if you do something like art related, there's the art cult, and then like news cult, and like all these different cults in your audience. So it's like, okay, well, maybe I have to do videos like that from now on, because like it keeps them all kind of, you know, under one umbrella. So yeah, we'll see. I just wish I had more space, because I could only use like maybe a third of the green screen width wise, but like just off the camera frame that you can't see, there's like the top of my computer. So like it's literally as just making use of what I could.
I feel your pain being in the bedroom at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the other thing with catching this blooming COVID is the office. The blooming office is now delayed till the 12th of August.
Oh no, it's such a shame.
You're right about space. Just was it last week? I don't know. I was showing that I was setting up the space for recording. I was like, it takes half an hour to set up, and then you got to tweak all your lights and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, if you care about that sort of stuff, which I do, I'm like, and then I'd finished. And I was like, I hope this is recorded, because now the light is changing outside and everything else, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to recreate the same scene if I've made a mistake. I must have recorded content about 6 or 7 times, so I could just edit it and hope that the edit could be good.
Yeah. Oh man, but look, you'll get your office soon enough.
I'd love an office. I'll have to move to Iowa to get one, though. I swear, it's like affordable space is only available like severely inland now. It's just gotten so ridiculous. All the cities are so just ridiculous. Like everything is just skyrocketed. It's just gotten so ridiculous everywhere.
Wow.
Except for Iowa. I think Iowa is probably like the place you can do it.
You got space in America. As you're saying, inland, there's just a lot of... But I suppose it's just also far away from infrastructure, or...
It is.
Like, piping and electricity might be a problem.
Oh, yeah. Like, the further you go away from the metropolitan areas, the cheaper it gets. You know, that's just a given almost anywhere in the world, right? But then, you know, you lose access.
Yeah. You'd love to live with a septic tank.
Yeah, exactly. I got a friend that, you know, bought like an orange grove or an avocado ranch or something. I don't know, but he's moving out to the middle of nowhere.
Oh, right.
Well, other friends that just, you know, gave up. They gave up the whole, you know, American lifestyle. They moved to Costa Rica with their family, and they're just writing books on Amazon. They have their fan base on Amazon, and they're writing.
I wouldn't be brave enough to like move out into the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, because to do that, you have to be really brave about like your medical status and like, you know, all stuff like that. Because if something goes wrong, you're like, oh god, all of trying to get to the right place, all these responsibilities.
Absolutely.
I do appreciate the idea of moving somewhere with lower cost of living. That can make a huge difference.
Come to India.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I've locked
told
my
me.
family, of course, and children in schools. But, you know, maybe in, I don't know, however many years, 12 years' time, I can make that decision.
Yeah. I know. Kids throw it all into the mix, man. It's just
They do.
You can't move. Like I'm in LA, man. My kids love it here. They got their friends here. They got everything here. And I'm like, you know, they want to be in entertainment. I'm like, well, this is where we got to be.
Yeah. I know when I was a kid, like all my friends till 5th grade, I was in this one town, and all of a sudden my parents got transfers and we had to come to another town. I cried for 3 days. I was like, I'm not gonna come.
Oh no.
It was like in 5th grade. Like I was born in the town, and it was like 10 years in the town, and I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
Even we were renting back then, so the house owner was also like, don't go. I was like, I hugged her and I cried for a while. I was like, I don't want to go. I want to stay here.
That's
It was
sweet.
such a nice thing. Yeah. It was a long time ago.
Moving is scary for kids.
Yeah. It's completely new. But after 3 days, I was absolutely fine, you know.
Yeah, of course. Once you realize
like
it's
a new
not as
friends.
bad, and you get new friends, and your kids make friends easily. So it's not most kids anyway. Not all kids, but most kids make friends pretty easily.
Thankfully, like all my childhood friends, like, you know, the 5th graders are still in contact. Like I can literally contact them.
That's cool.
It is really nice.
Yeah, that's the thing about like having social media or whatever. It's like you can stay connected to people no matter where you go.
Yeah.
You know, we have friends here. They moved to India, and you know, pretty sure my kids are going to be able to connect to them on social media. It's, they'll keep their friends here.
Yeah.
And one of them is an actress. She'll most likely be coming back here at some point.
Oh,
So bouncing between here and India.
Is
She
it-
might even get parts in it. She'll probably get parts in movies in India.
whoa.
So that's awesome. Yeah.
If
I mean,
she gets famous, honestly, I would know her. Like it's
yeah.
really like most of the actors we know. Most of the actors in India.
Yeah, if she gets parts, I'll tell you offline who she is.
Yeah,
I don't want to,
sure.
like, spread it out to the world, but yeah, she's she's talented, so we'll see.
That's really nice.
I've never really thought about like where I would live if like the UK wasn't like a viable option anymore. I mean, India would be interesting, but I think like the obvious one would be like elsewhere in the Commonwealth, Australia. I would probably go to Australia. I think.
I would.
Go to Mars.
Yeah.
That's where you belong.
I would say like I've got quite a bit of family in Australia, so that's why it makes more sense.
Oh.
It's like, okay, well that's the other part of the culture, I guess. If that didn't work
Don't
out,
you-
probably Canada, and then if that didn't work out, probably the United States, and then like kind of go down the ladder like that.
Yeah, it's so funny how, like, American centric. Everybody thinks, oh, everybody wants to live in America. It's the best. And I'm like, that's not the case anymore. It's really not. Like,
it's just the healthcare that's I think the main reason why like I wouldn't, because I think living in America would be really cool if that wasn't an issue, because I'm already like so familiar with so much of like the American culture and Americanisms, but I don't know. I
we've
just
exported
think
it.
I'd probably just do better in Canada, I think.
Yeah. I do like Canada. I've been up there a number of times. It's just very, very cold. Like, it gets cold very quickly.
Sounds like
done with
bliss
that.
right now.
Yeah.
It does.
Sounds
Yeah.
like bliss to where you guys are. Yeah.
Although,
Actually, here
I
too,
mean-
it was in the 90s.
I've got a friend over in Calgary, and he was saying that it was like 40 degrees, and they had wildfires a couple of weeks ago. So
Yep.
it's the world we live in.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
You're gonna see Banff go up in flames. It's gonna be horrible.
If everything works out fine, probably next year I'll be in US for I think about 2 years for my higher education. But it should be fun.
Nice.
It should be fun. I don't know.
Yeah, that'll be
I'm
cool.
completely open to the experience now.
It'd be fun. Should do it.
We should all meet one.
Yeah.
We should have a local Blender conference where Curtis can't be here. He'll be like, no, fine. Be jealous.
Yeah. Tell you what though, I was really interested in the American Blender conference.
Wait, was there one?
When there was going to be one, early 2020, it was going to be June, July, I think.
July. Yeah, I think it was June. I think June something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember because Ducky we were talking, and he had like bought plane tickets and stuff, and like everything was ready, and then the pandemic happened, and they just decided to call it off. It was sad, man. I was excited. I was so excited because it was literally going to be like 4 or 5 miles away from where I am right now. It's something like 3 kilometers or something for you guys on the metric system, but it was just so close. It was so close. I could have ridden a bike there.
Yeah.
Walk 3 kilometers.
Well,
Yeah.
is there one going on this year yet? There was lots of questions around it, wasn't there?
No, I think they were thinking about it and then they said no. I think.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a bummer because Seagraph there was talk of that being in person, but that's all virtual.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of bummed about that because that's usually happens. Usually, I mean, it bounces around the country here, but it usually happens in it comes back to LA, and I was really excited, but nope, Delta variant is here, and the cases are climbing again.
Yep. They are here as
So-
well.
I know.
It's getting
You guys
better
have
in
been hit
India
for a
though.
while. Good.
Good. Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
Delta variant India was ground zero for the Delta. You guys went through that hell. We're starting it now.
I just stopped watching news. I have no idea what's going on in the world, but then once in a while I hear like, okay, the cases are reducing. I was like, thank God. Yes, let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah, you guys
getting
were hit really bad with that.
like pictures of all these kind of body piles and stuff, and it's just
I'm not gonna. I don't see
Just
anything.
too much.
I
yeah,
can't
too much to
handle
watch.
anything like that. So
Yeah, it's just horrible.
I'll just leave it there.
well.
Yeah. So we're
Hopefully everything's getting better.
Yeah.
I think
Talking
so.
about Blender
Ultimately-
conferences. coming back. I really wish we can host one in India, Blender conference India.
Oh my god, yes. Oh,
There's so many people that I know
That
who
would be
will be
really
up for
cool.
it.
I might.
Yeah,
That might
yeah.
be the thing that gets me to go to India. If there was like
should.
an official one, because
You
I
should
look
come
forward to getting called sir and bro a lot. So we have this running
Is
joke.
that a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing. Charan was telling me because like I was getting like messages from like Indian fans and stuff, and they all had either sir or bro in the message, and he was like, yeah, that's like a cultural thing. That's what we have.
Oh wow.
And now, yeah, more times than not, whenever someone says, "Hey, excuse me, sir, like, can you help this?" Okay, thank you, sir. Like, it tends to be an Indian fan, so it just seems to be just a thing, and I thought it was quite funny.
To be honest, like whoever you learn from, he's a teacher to you. So we don't call teachers with names. We call them sir because we learn from
Wow.
them. So
Right.
it's general. Like that's how we respect we respect them.
Yeah.
And bro
That's
is more
cool.
like it's cool. Yeah, bro is cool.
Like, yeah, it's friend.
So I mean, in general, when you talk, hey bro, hi bro, that's how we generally communicate here in colleges and stuff. So that's something. But yeah, sir is more like if you actually respect the person who you're talking to because you learn something from him, then we call them. I think I actually call one of my fellow Blender creator sir, and then I called Curtis the first time. When I was texting him, I thought I should put sir because it'll be respectful, and it's like, no, it's fine. Let's call him Curtis. Thank God I called him
Yeah.
Curtis. It would have been cringe.
No,
if
if
I
you
called
said
him
sir,
now.
if you said sir, I would like, I'd be like
No,
sending
Charan.
screenshots of it to you, like every now and again, just to make you laugh. But no, I think that
That'd
would
Oh
be
yeah, I
hilarious.
know.
I would
I
love,
love it.
mean,
love to see what the different fans are like, or like the different kind of Blender audience members. Because Amsterdam was interesting. It was all very,
Yeah.
it was all very polite and peaceful and nice and all that. I'm not saying like other places won't be, but I think it'll be different. I think America will be different.
It would be.
Yeah.
I get pretty excited when I meet the people who I learn from,
Mhm.
Because the first time when I spoke to Ian Hubert, I was like literally fanboy. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
great.
Oh, that was funny.
Me and
'Cause-
Curtis was.
yeah, you're gonna say we jump into a call with him the other day.
It was
So
great.
you guys were on with him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
on his server.
He follows me on Twitter.
Oh my god, that's
That's
fanboy.
Oh, you guys are on his Patreon?
Well, so Charan is. I'm not, but Charan gave me a link to the server because he was in a call with Ian then. But Ian's signed up to my Patreon, so I think he was okay with it. So I jumped in and then we said hi and we had a nice chat. And it was quite funny because we were talking about the conference then, and I said to him, like, Ian, I nearly said hi to you, but I was standing near you, like when you were off to the side of the theatre, but I thought, look, this is the only break you're going to get from talking to people, so I'm not going to do it. He was like, oh, no, it's fine. Like, oh, you should have said hi. I was like, no, like, I know. Like, I'll just
That
let
was
you have
your
that.
gentlemanly politeness.
Yeah.
If it was me, I would
Yeah.
have been like, can I take a picture with you? There's no other way going about that. There's no plan,
Yeah.
nothing.
You would have been
It's one
starstruck.
chance. It's only one chance that I get with him.
I was like, look,
Something like
I can imagine, I can pretend in my head that we said hi and it was all very nice. I'll just let you have that moment.
I have very limited interaction with him. We've gone back and forth once or twice or a few times on Twitter and on he's commented on my videos. He seems like such a cool dude. So I'm just like, yeah, I've been meaning to join his Patreon for like 6 months now, and then I keep forgetting because I get so busy and I'm like, all right, I got another project to do. And then
I'll
I'm
remind you
like,
next
oh yeah,
time.
wait, I still haven't joined his Patreon. All right, I look at his stuff and I'm like, yeah, I can do the stuff that he does, but I'm like, I don't know how he pulls off that volume of work, man. Like, and still sleeps. It's insane what he can
So
do. Like he's
hyper-focused.
like a machine. It's incredible.
Have you seen his latest renders? Like where he made this really nice ships or something, like like warships. It was great. Like in a
Wow,
very
no, I haven't
foggy
seen that.
environment.
Wow,
It was
yeah,
not
nice.
seen
he's
those.
he's very inventive with Blender, man. I mean, like, he's not like reaching out to like other tools to do stuff like Houdini or whatever. Like, yeah, that can do some things really good that Blender still can't do. But like, just the way he like will come up with like ways to like make it to fake it and stuff. He's just creative as hell. I just think it's cool.
If
Yeah.
he just
like his
learn
stuff.
Houdini, he's going to be like, I don't even know, he'll be a
I mean, if he wanted to, definitely learn Houdini, I'd help him. If he wanted to. It's just he'd have to fit it into his pipeline and find a need for it. I think in a lot of things though, Blender's a lot faster. It really is. If you're just gonna like bang out stuff like that, like background sets and things if you want like Inception as your background, that's like always changing and morphing and stuff. Yeah, like Houdini is great for that. But like, if you just want like shots, right, to populate your background for your script, like Blender's awesome for that. It's so fast.
One thing that is
You can just
interesting,
bang it all out.
like so Blender is like 3D modeling software, and yet the modeling suite really hasn't changed much, like over the years.
Yeah.
And I think it just stands
Doesn't
as
really
like
need it to.
yeah, exactly. It's just like a testament to like you've already hit like a really good spot with it. Like no one can
It is
say
Yeah.
no one can say that Blender's a bad modeling tool, like at all.
No,
I think
yeah.
people have tried to say that, but it's just not true.
It's true. It's a really awesome modeling tool. When I jumped into 2.79, I was coming straight from Maya, and it was like a breath of fresh air. Irrespective of right click, left click, like I knew that I could just train muscle memory in a week to do the right click thing. It wasn't a game changer for me. Like I didn't like it, but whatever. Like I'll just do it because I jumped in. I'm like, this is incredible. It's like a free version of Maya, but it's like really responsive. And at the time, I think I was using Maya 2015 or something, and it just felt new. And then when I could just pipe everything into cycles, shade it with this incredible shading algorithm that reminded me of what Lightwave used to have, except nodal based, or what like XSI used to have. I was like, this is insane. And I just got hooked. And then when 2.8 came around, I was like, oh man, now it's left click. Now it feels like all the other software that I use, and it just like blended right into my workflow. And I still can't get guys in the office to use it, but I think it's great. I love it. And I haven't even I've touched Maya just professionally because I have to for work. And it feels like I'm going home again when I open it up, but at the same time, it's just Blender does modeling right. Unless you want to get precise, then 3D Studio Max kind of has it all on everything.
Yeah.
The Max gets you those right tolerances and everything. But Blender, man, it's just for 90% of what you're ever gonna do. It's perfect for entertainment.
You could do CAD in 3ds Max. Like, you can give precise numbers and
Yes.
inches and everything to get those tools, but Blender can't do that. But if Blender can do that, if there's some add-on which can actually emulate the whole
probably is.
precision
Well,
thing, then
there's definitely
yeah,
CAD
there is
add-ons,
probably.
but yeah.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have definitely seen it.
It's just a case of like if it's not in there, it will be one day.
Yeah, it will be one day. For sure.
It's true. I've branched out into Houdini. Well, I mean, I use it for work, which is the team uses it, so I learned it, and I kind of learned it a little bit begrudgingly because it was such a tough learning curve compared to like Blender and Maya and Max and Lightwave and XSI and all these other softwares that I've used over the years. But once you get over that, it's incredible. But I've really taken it on the side just to do like crazy organic stuff, and like it's just awesome for that. Like that's one thing that even like Geometry Nodes doesn't do well yet at all. And I'm like, I'm just kind of pushing it in that direction, just doing some really, really fun stuff. You guys will see in the next video. I do some like growth stuff that I don't focus too much on the Houdini stuff outside, in the YouTube stuff because it kind of just goes over my audience's head. Like they don't. I watch like when I go into Houdini, like the level drops off and then it like picks up at the end of the video. When you watch the metrics in your videos of like where people are watching. Like the Houdini stuff always kind of drops off. It's probably just my audience is probably mostly Blender centric, but I gloss over it and it's really cool stuff. So you can like do like really cool growth stuff and propagation and that sort of thing, and it does it so well. But for like, you just look at the stuff Ian does, and you're like, if you're just like doing like, the stuff for your script, it's everything you need. I mean, he did that disintegration shot in that it wasn't Dynamo. It was like the thing that he said was just going to be on the little screen in Dynamo. It was that racing thing that he did.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And like,
yeah.
and you're just seeing like things like hit the ground and like, you know, blow up. And he nailed the physics. And he just like
Yeah.
had all these pieces just come off. And like, I'm thinking he probably did that either manually or he did like some like, you know, small simulation for it. But it doesn't seem like he spent that much time on it. And it still looked awesome because the camera's shaking, everything's moving around. It didn't need to like have perfect physics. It just needed to be believable.
He made
And
a
it worked.
tutorial on that on his Patreon, and it was amazing. I don't want to say anything because it's a tutorial
Yeah,
on his
don't.
Patreon, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's cool.
it
I'll
was
see. I'll see
amazing.
when I sign up. It'll be interesting.
Nice.
I just think it's cool as, you know, so it's like, you know, the thing I'm getting into here with this is that it kind of translates into those flame wars that you see. I'm starting to see a lot more of these going on Twitter about, you know, what software is great for what. And, you know, half the people are like dumping on Blender and they're, you know, ragging on the community. And yeah, there are fanboys in the Blender community that never want to give up Blender. And the truth is, like, there are a lot of places in Europe, I guess, that are using Blender, and they're starting to be more, you know, on the down low here in the United States that are using Blender for stuff. But the pipeline, you know, the pipeline things, Maya, Houdini, Max, Cinema 4D, those are like the big things. So if you want to get a job, learn what the studios are using. Other than that, if you're doing your own stuff, Blender's perfect for it. So I don't even get involved in those flame wars anymore. I'm just like, use whatever tools are, you know, going to get you the results you want.
One of the
Worry about
biggest
the techniques.
takeaways from industry, something that is, let's use the term industry standard. Blender's definitely there in terms of its quality. But what about support when you're working on a multi-million-pound project and Blender keeps crashing on your scene? That's where these other programs actually come in, and your licenses pay for that support. You'll get a software engineer coming in because they want to improve their software and be able to do whatever it is that's crashing it. That's something that is available to you that's just not when it comes to Blender. Nothing wrong with Blender not having that. It's not meant for it's not meant for big production like that yet. Maybe one day there will be a support package for it. Who knows?
And I have actually run into those issues where we were on, I'll say probably $1 billion proposal, and the video portion of that and the educational portion of that was a huge selling point, and we had to nail stuff, and Maya kept crashing, and we got I think it was still Alias Wavefront at the time that owned it, and their tech support, or maybe it was Autodesk, but their tech support sent us they sent us a new build specifically for us to address that issue like the next day, and it stopped crashing and everything worked perfectly. And honestly, like if we didn't have that, it could have been catastrophic. I mean, we're talking like probably close to $1 billion on the line. So that's where having tech support really, 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 really helps, and you need it. That's why Blender not having that, you really do take the risk. And Hollywood, if they, you know, the visual effects companies, if they don't deliver, they get sued. So, you know, you kind of want that heavyweight tech support in your, you know, in your back pocket if you need it. And not having that, you're setting yourself up for litigation potentially, and a lot of other things. But I have seen Ton post some stuff about getting some kind of tech support on board with Blender. I don't know exactly what it was. I read a tweet, but it seems like it's on their radar.
There's something rings a bell.
You know,
I can't remember if that was a tweet or whether the Andrew Price interview with him. I don't know, but I do remember he said something about support once.
It'll help Blender's penetration certainly, because it's a great tool.
Not again, Kev.
Sorry.
Sorry,
what's that?
No, we can't use penetration again. Not after the joke video.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I'm not laughing because you said it now. It's just that video came into my mind immediately.
It's just always going to remind us of it.
Yeah, four dudes on the internet using that. Yeah, that word. Okay, got it. It always just devolves to the lowest common denominator, doesn't
it? The problem is it makes sense. It's like it's a perfectly fine. Yeah. Sorry.
Just funny now. I'm sorry.
I know.
Yeah, that video though, it made so many people laugh. Though it made people happy. See, I like the humor in the Blender community. It's good.
There is good humor. There's good humor.
Oh, kind of.
It's a much larger community than most.
Speaking of humor, CG Matter had his community conversation in the BlenderNest server.
Yeah, I was
managed
in the
virtually.
office. Like I missed that one. I really wanted to be there.
Oh yeah. So that
It
will
was really
eventually
nice.
be put up on the channel, but there's a backlog of the other ones to get through.
It was so different talking to him over there because he's not chaotic. Trust me, he's not.
Yeah, when
While he was
actually
talking to us,
when he's
not.
talking properly, yeah, he's actually kind of maintaining a string of thought. I mean, occasionally he would like break off and say, "Okay, I've completely forgotten what we were talking about, so let's just like come back on." But no, yeah, it was interesting just hearing him talk a lot.
Yeah, he's a very smart guy. He's very, very bright.
Arthur was saying like because they went for hiking or something, for climbing, and he was like, "This is not a CG matter that he knows because he's a completely different person outside." I want to see that person. That's more interesting.
He figured out YouTube pretty quickly and figured out his format pretty quickly. I've almost nailed down my format, and I just realized
Yeah.
it's not a format for growth. It's a format
Yeah.
for like a steady incline. Like I'm
Hmm.
not gonna probably I probably won't see these spikes, but
You're talking about
you know,
your videos, Kev. When is the next video coming up?
I'm hoping. I'm gonna try to get one out. I'm gonna try to work on one today, because I had put some stuff up on my Patreon channel, some really interesting, fun stuff that one of my Patreons had actually requested, and so I think I'm gonna try to put one up soon this week. I don't want to go
Cool.
another 2 months without a video. I can't do that. It's like my channel didn't suffer at all for it, but I don't want to go another 2 months without a video.
No, yeah. So, Susan Wojcinski, how do you?
Yeah, Susan Wojcinski, yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to
Yeah.
her talking about stuff because I think what's his name from
Anthony Peria.
yeah, him interviewed her because she doesn't always do that kind of stuff, or like it's quite rarely. So she was answering
That's nice.
questions about YouTube, and she was saying that they did some studies at YouTube trying to figure out like how audience behavior worked and all of that, and she said it really doesn't affect your channel much if you stop
Yeah.
making videos and then come back at a later date. Like the amount of
Mhm.
subscriber interest does not change, so it's not something to be too worried about.
Yeah.
Of course, you might get like less
Yeah.
views or maybe less
She said it's good to
growth.
take a break.
Yeah, you might do better for it taking a break, but again, like there's a flip side of that because it's not going to help you grow if you don't make content.
Yeah,
So that-
consistency consistency breeds more and more growth.
yeah,
Like I think CG Matter was releasing. He was releasing on both of his channels. I don't know. I still see stuff pop up that's new. So he must be doing like 2 or 3, 4 videos a week. It seems.
On one of his videos, he was saying it because he was going off on the walk. He was sitting down and he was just absolutely pile driving through content, and then
Yeah.
obviously stacking it up so it's releasing while he's away. And I think you're right there that not only is consistency good in terms of more people get to see more of your content, you also have more content for people to watch, which helps if
Yeah.
people are bouncing around your videos. But on top of that, as you said about finding your voice on YouTube, or anything, it doesn't have to be on YouTube, but YouTube specifically, the more you do, the more iterations you do, the more chance you're going to get to change and either diverge away from where you are currently and practice loads of things and try different styles, and eventually actually converge back into a style that you sit into that your audience likes. And that can also be, in 3 years' time, an absolute pain in the backside because you might want to diverge again and you may be scared of doing it and everything else. So it's waves as it goes.
yeah. I've always said
Yeah.
this
It's true.
right from the beginning of BlenderNest. I always said I don't want to get backed into a corner too much, so I'll keep throwing weird curveballs at the algorithm to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're doing well with that. I mean, your growth is definitely, you've been like, you haven't like your growth hasn't been like one of these like meteoric. I mean, we all had that like when because a lot of us we were here when before Blender 2.8, right? And then when 2.8 hit and all the hype and everything, it just, we all like took advantage of that, and some people just really skyrocketed at that point. But it's been a nice, level, incline, and it hasn't
Yeah.
dropped. Like it's been going like we've been going. You and I have been going kind of like steady.
Yeah.
I saw like Ducky took off. He's got like over 200,000 subscribers now. But he's been consistently posting on Instagram and pushing his stuff. You know, he hasn't slowed down at all. So it's just interesting to see like, you know, where all of us were and kind of like how, you know, things have happened. The outlier is definitely, you know, Daniel, who's just gone gangbusters. I mean, wow, like what an awesome ride that is, right? I know he's almost at 1 million. I'm so like I'm psyched for him, man. I'm like, dude, you might, you know, bank it and never have to actually have a stupid day job in your life, you know, because you know, just awesome. Like I'm happy for him.
Dad is just like, guess I'm famous now.
I know. Like, well, I guess, you know, when my 8-year-old comes over to me and he's like, I found this channel. I think you know him. I subscribed, and I'm like, it's Dan. I hear him laughing in the corner, and I'm like, "What are you laughing at?" He comes over. He's like, I think you know him." He's like laughing at Dan's video, and I'm like, "He's got it, man. He's got something."
Yeah.
Like,
Even my brother was watching the Mr. Beast stuff. Like he watches Mr. Beast stuff, and he stumbled upon one of Dan's videos. Like, yeah, I know him.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm super excited for him, man. You know, I love it when you know one of our people blows up, like people we know. It's just awesome to see.
And it's been through a lot of hard work.
Because you like them. What's that?
A lot of hard work went into that blooming 50 million subscriber thing. I was amazed looking at the video and the bit where a chunk of metal flies across the at the end of the video.
That really is next. That's next level stuff. Like that's where you definitely earn your growth. Like that's right there is like he earned it. I mean, flying across the country, like taking resumes from people who can actually build, figuring out what Damascus steel is. Like how many people you just walk on the street and ask, "Hey, sir, have you ever played with Damascus steel?" What? You know,
what?
But he learned what Damascus steel is, and just you know.
He did his work, you know.
That's next level stuff. It's a lot of work. He busted his butt for it, no doubt.
It's really fun to watch as well. Like I watched his the 50 million video twice or something because this is really funny. Especially when he started tracing it, I was like, "Why are you doing this?" That's great.
It's hilarious. I know.
I like the Daniel. He also came back to the private server like after he met Mr. Beast and like put a nice message in. I don't know if you remember that, but like a little bits of advice as well. Then actually, this kind of
he came.
Sorry, go ahead, Kev.
Oh no, I was just gonna say he came back with the elixir. I mean he's like it's like watching the hero's journey in his you know in his growth.
Yeah.
And he like comes back with the magic elixir and he like shares it with the rest of us. It was super nice of him. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Directly from Mr. Beast's knowledge base. That was awesome.
It was nice, and combining that with this goes back to what we were talking about, video consistency, because recently as well there was I read this thing about Mr. Beast hadn't like put up a video for a little bit, but he came out and he said, okay, it's not because there hasn't been anything, it's because like we've tried so many amazing ideas but they've all failed. So like, you know, and it was some of them were really interesting, and so this kind of ties in with another bit of advice where I was talking to you, Charan, about like the rate that you should be putting videos up. And it's like, okay, well, you can try and make something that's super valuable and do it less frequently, so quality over quantity. Is that necessarily the best way to go? Not really, because Mr. Beast says, you know, you need to be somewhat consistent again. So you need to try and go for the highest quality thing that you can do, but you also need to be realistic and say, okay, if you can't get that highest quality thing within this certain amount of time, then that's not good enough. You need to put something out if you want to kind of, you know, maximize that. So it's like, I think a lot of people want to subscribe to like one idea or the other, which is, oh, I only make super quality videos and I only do them like, you know, when they're ready, when they need to. It will be ready when it's ready, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then other people do it the other way, which is, you know, I'll make as much as I can. But I think like, you know, the balance.
Nice slap on my face, God.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much.
the balance down the middle is what you want.
Exactly.
My God.
Yeah.
See, that's what I love about Patreon is that I can just do like stream of consciousness stuff that people seem to really like, and I just do like the minimal amount of editing just to make it watchable,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
I just pack it with information and teaching. For YouTube, it's like you're thinking about all this other stuff, like, is it going to get views? Is this worth my time? Is the algorithm going to like it? What is, like, is it gonna grow my channel? Is it gonna blah blah blah? It's like Patreon's just
Yeah.
like, cool, I have an idea, let me show it to you guys.
Yeah.
Cool. I
I
don't have to worry
mean,
about the algorithm or anything.
Oh
when I
yeah.
think about my content, like the little doodles that I do once in a while and I share it with you guys, they can make a really good YouTube video when I make a tutorial on that. But again, it's all comes down to vector math and I have to explain it. So I'm actually taking
Yeah.
time. So I will take time
Hmm.
and I'll complete the series and done. Not gonna touch vector math series again.
Yeah, that's the
So,
crux, man. Like, the stuff you're doing is like pretty intricate, you know. I
uh,
mean, or you could just do the CG Matter stuff, because he does intricate stuff sometimes. But he's like, I'm just gonna gloss over this. Blah 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 blah. Okay, we're done with the
I
technical
could,
stuff. Now
I
here's the
could, I,
artistic stuff. Like, do it that way, you know.
I could do that, like, I mean, I can explain a concept, like, if you sit beside me, I can explain what it is doing, all sorts of applications, but it's gonna take, CG Matter takes 20 to 30 minutes for one small video or something, let's say small concept. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
gonna take that much time, but then if I condense it and make a scripted version, I can go through 10 concepts within 10 minutes.
Hmm.
Yes.
And people need efficiency, if that makes sense. Time is valuable. So
Mhm.
I'm spending, let's say, 20 days to reduce 20 minutes from their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Save, sorry,
That's
not
about right.
reduce. To save 20,
Yeah.
20 minutes from their life.
Yeah, that's why I've started, like, I mean, my output has been nil, but I've been trying to, like, make, pack the quality in this. I've been trying to, like, take that monster, that meat monster concept, and, like, use that as a template to kind of, like, do the other videos. And it seems to, yeah, I mean, they're not all getting that kind of viewership, but they're not doing poorly. Like, the latest Alien one I did is, like, at something like 10 or 11,000 views. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of
That's
happy
cool.
with that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I can pack it in. But the coolest thing is, like, that what you're saying is, you're taking 20 days to do 20 minutes of their time. It's like, I figured out that scripted is really the only way I can get this stuff out, because
Yeah.
I can't sit there without, someone screaming, or the helicopters, the LAPD helicopters circling overhead, which they love to do for no reasons, or like the air conditioning unit coming on and blasting my microphone. Like, so I have to record myself doing stuff, and then I have to, like, record it all. So I'll have like 6 hours worth of video, or whatever it took me to do that. Like, the meat monster, I think, was like 8 hours, and then I have to, like, condense it on the timeline in Resolve down to, like, 10 a 10-minute video.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't need the microphone for that. So I'm not going to be distracted. I'm not going to have the air conditioner blasting. I'm not going to have any of that. Like, if I sat down to actually do that and try to, like, record myself doing it and talking through it, I'd never get a video out.
Yeah.
Yep. I think people will sometimes forget, like, or don't realize how much effort it takes to make these videos sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even, like, necessarily your fault a lot of the time, because as you were saying, about, like, the helicopters and stuff. I remember in 2019, my last computer, for some reason, something wrong with the motherboard. I couldn't figure out what it was, but it was giving me, like, the bleep errors. But I mean, it was
boy.
it was functioning fine, but it just bleeped
Yeah.
all the time. So so when I used to do my recordings, and they were all scripted, and you're getting hot, and you're doing the same sentence over and over again, and you think you just hit the right time, and you're like, so something, and you get a beep 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 beep, and you're like, so, like, you try and do the same thing again. You got, like, I think it was something like 30 or 40 seconds before it would beep again. So it's like you're trying not to get stressed and do it just, like, calmly and peacefully and get it right, and then it goes again. And I used to come out of, like, recording those so sweaty and just, like, peed off. I was like, oh my God.
Especially when I'm recording, it's really noisy around here. And I can't record in the night because of all the crickets. They keep screeching all the time. I hate it. But in the morning, my brother will be on the other room and my mom will be in the kitchen. And I couldn't ask them enough, like, can you please be quiet? Can you just go for a walk outside? And they get so
Yep.
mad at me, but then I have to deal with all that stuff and still record it somehow. At one point of
I
time, I
know.
just gave up, and I could hear the refrigerator all of the sudden. Zerr, it'll be
Yeah.
having that buzzing noise. And,
Oh,
it's
God, yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Somehow I have to I thought, okay, I can resolve that in the post, like while auditing. No,
It's
No.
There are some things you can't get out in post. The
Yeah.
biggest one in Lincolnshire is we have the RAF Typhoons based here,
Oh no.
and when they go out on an exercise, oh dear.
Oh, do you get the
frustration.
Oh, the
dude.
Royal. The
Yeah.
Royal Air Force. Oh, those are loud.
Yeah, they
yeah
are.
when
Yes,
they do the
yes.
sonic booms as well. Oh my!
Yeah.
I only I don't think I ever heard one before, but I was on the loo. Sorry, too much information, and the window was open, and I heard something, and I thought, that's an explosion. I have no idea where that came from, but I know that's like an explosion sound. That's
Yeah.
not like
Oh, yeah.
anything. The only thing nearby is like a shopping center, and I was like, okay, so this
Um,
I know that's like not normal. So it's either something really bad has happened or something's gone by overhead. And I looked it up, and yeah, they had done. And I was like, oh my god, wait, you really can hear it from that far away? Because like we're not
And
even.
Yep.
when they're cranked up, you hear them. It's like, and it just gets so loud, and it lasts
Yep.
for like 2 or 3 minutes. It's like,
Hmm,
fair enough.
it's
And
crazy.
you if they're not like off radar, you can
Ah.
look them up on the maps and see what they're doing.
Right.
And they have literally circled our village. Our village seems to be one of the places they come in on and just go round for a couple of times. They're like, we're gonna piss off Mike right now.
Yeah. There they go.
Here again. It's like, cheers, guys. I mean, the
Yeah.
kids love it, when something like a Globe Master comes over and you're like, that thing's
Oh, yeah.
huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do glasses
Like-
break for the sound? No, right?
A lot.
Sonic
No,
Boom
the-
can, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they
booms
try
can.
not to do it overland because of that.
Yeah, and alarms go off quite a lot.
Do they
Dogs start
use
barking.
Harriers? Do they use Harriers at all? The vertical takeoff
I don't-
Harriers,
I don't.
jump jets.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think we use them. They're Navy in this country. I
Hmm.
don't think
They're
the Army
Navy,
use
yeah.
them.
Yeah, they're primarily Navy here too. I was just wondering if they would use them because different countries have different
Yeah.
uses for them. But yeah, just wait until you get the F-35s.
Oh yeah.
But you won't get the vertical. You probably won't get the vertical takeoffs. Those are Navy too. So you're not
Yeah.
going to get that noise. But oh man, you want roaring jet noise?
You
God.
mean
They look cool.
VTOL, vertical takeoff
that?
and landing?
Oh,
VTOL.
VTOL.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
VTOL. Yeah, VTOL, vertical
Okay.
takeoff, and yeah,
I had this subject in mechanical engineering. I'm so glad I remember this word.
Oh, do
yeah,
It's like I was just thinking.
do you like the
VTOL. Yep.
This is gonna get really nerdy now. The MV-22s, the ones with like the
Yes.
twin propellers.
Yeah.
It's
The twin
gonna go up.
propellers,
It's
They're,
gonna
they're really cool.
yeah. The
So
STOL
loud.
also
Yeah.
stationary takeoff and landing. It was great.
Yeah, it's cool tech, but it's loud.
was a
So
hard
if you
subject,
live,
by
if you
the
live
way.
near that,
Mm.
man, oh yeah, forget it. Engineering, I wouldn't even want to try. I wouldn't even
It's all
attempt.
theory, It's not even
Yeah.
It's all theory. You have to just remember like all the names of these aircrafts and different types.
Mhm.
But yeah, it is.
Also, the
Yeah.
amount of like force and maths
Ah.
involved just to get that to work as well, because it's like such an off-balance thing. Like,
Yep.
Gyroscope should be like very precise.
yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know if you, because I've played it, I've done that on simulators and stuff and that, but like
Oh yeah.
you just feel like you're gonna fall like every time you try and get some like forward thrust going, and it's just I
Yep.
don't know. It just feels like it's more effort than it's worth, a lot of the time.
I know.
So well done to the engineers, I guess.
The engineering is astoundingly
I mean, the
cool
subject
on
is
that, but-
boring as well. Thank God those
Yeah.
people who made those, they heard those lessons, gone through those boring classes.
I bet they were paid
Yeah.
a lot of money.
They're paid pretty well, but yeah, I mean, the helicopters and stuff. That's like those are like the things you can't control on your YouTube channels, right? So like the LAPD flying over, over my neighborhood. They love to take that helicopter out when they're looking for people. So they have they have a few helicopters and they take it out. Luckily, like I hear like Glendale or Burbank, some of these cities around LA, or sometimes they're so bored that they just like take people up on for rides on their police helicopters, and it's just like, stop it! It's so loud.
Oh,
Have
actually,
you
that reminds
go on.
me. They don't do it as much anymore, but we did have a route going over our house here where they used to fly the Chinooks.
Oh, those are, oh man,
They
yeah.
sound really interesting though. Like you don't need to look at it; you can just hear it's a Chinook. It's this really
Yep.
weird kind of deep, like kind of.
It's very
thing.
deep. Yeah.
No idea what you
A
guys are
bass.
talking about.
Oh, it's like a really long helicopter, but with two massive
Mhm.
blades, and they kind of like alternate. I think.
You've seen them in movies.
They
Yeah.
you've seen
counter
Oh
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
They
they're in, like,
alternately
every-
rotate.
Every like alien invasion and disaster movie, they're in there. Every one of those. Like just like watch like a like a.
Okay, can you
Independence
say the
Day.
name again?
Chinook.
The
Chinook. Yeah.
I
Just
think I know that.
just type in like Chin Nook and you'll like get
Yeah.
something.
You'll see.
I think I know what you guys are talking about. Like
you've
even in
definitely seen
Godzilla vs Kong,
Oh
there
yeah,
was this.
they look very
Yeah.
cool.
I'm sure India has some.
I tried.
They're all
I
over
tried
the place.
modeling it. I tried modeling
they're-
it for the scene. Yeah, I failed, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I know what
they're
you guys-
ubiquitous though. They're in like every like invasion movie,
movie.
everything. Every like when
Yeah, it was.
in every Roland Emmerich movie, the part of the movie, like the middle of the first act where like they pick something up, and then the military has to convene, and then it's like Fort Bragg, 2800 hours, and then like you see the Chinooks coming in. They always put them in the films. You always see those.
I don't know too much about military stuff, but I think like the Chinooks are like one of our main things. I think we got the Chinooks, the Lynx, and the Apaches, right?
The Apaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Apaches are the big. They're the warbirds. They're the attack helicopters.
Yeah.
They're the ones with like the big those big kind of, they look like wings, but they're not. But they're like the wings of death. They're like filled with artillery and ordnance.
They look pretty
Those
cool.
are crazy.
They're like
Yeah,
they're kind of like the
insane.
Terminators of the sky. I think they got like. So
they're like the hunter killers. They're
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, you can't do anything about those in your YouTube videos. So you got to just That's why I think like recording and scripting is probably the way to go, at least for me.
Yeah.
I just looked at the Chinooks. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
just now. That's not what I tried to model. That's a different one, but.
I
thought those were not real. I thought those were only for the movies.
thought they were fake.
Yeah, like I said, they're in like every movie. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
every
No, they're-
sci-fi movie. So I was like, okay, it's a sci-fi
Yep.
vehicle. It's not real.
I
It's not
can't
real.
remember whether it was an Apache or a Chinook, but down the road, one had to land because of a warning, and it landed in
Oh.
one of the fields. But because it had landed in a field, it sunk. And there,
Oh.
there were like loads of comments on the local Facebook groups going, "Why don't they just take off?" I'm like, "You got like a 30 million pound thing stuck in the ground. Oh, let's just go
Yeah.
full throttle. Let's see what happens."
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
let's just do full throttle on a $30
They
million
had-
aircraft.
Yeah, they had to dig it out before they actually went anywhere with it.
And if it's a Chinook, you got to be really, really careful because I don't know what they call it, but like the kind of resonance things, they can literally tear themselves apart. Like
Yeah,
so
in seconds.
yeah, it's really, really dangerous.
Yeah. The resonant frequency.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like vibrate, and yeah, you don't want to do that. It's
Mm.
it's kind of like in your car if you have like two windows open, and sometimes you just get that like
Oh, yeah, whoop, 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 whoop,
and
whoop.
they're
Oh
like
my god.
whoop, 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 and it like and you feel like you're never gonna hear again, like it's destroying your eardrums, like it's painful, like that. Imagine that, but like
I
able
would
to
have
like
thought modern cars, when
break
you
things.
like pull a window down, it will detect that and open up just another window, just crack it. That's all that's
maybe.
needed.
I know you'd think that all the computerization would do that, but I
Somehow
don't know.
have that sound buried in my mind, like from being a kid on like motorway trips.
Yup. Exactly.
What's going on?
Do you know about this, Charan? Like when you're driving at high speed with a window down and it's like making this weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Because I
Yeah,
know,
I like
because
that,
I know in
yeah,
India you drive
crazy.
at such a slow speed because of all the traffic.
No,
No.
you should
I
see my
wouldn't- I
driver. Like he drives in like 100 or 120.
Oh my god.
Whoa!
Right.
Wow!
I showed you. Do you remember like the Top Gear India special thing?
Oh yeah.
I
did,
showed you
yeah.
that, and you were like, "Yeah, this is completely what it's like."
Whoa!
And the roads are like very bumpy sometimes.
Mm.
It's like in the very like city areas, but then when you go to the highways, you can go literally like 120, 130. I mean, I don't recommend it, but because it's obviously dangerous to go at that speed, but sometimes 120, 130. It's highly possible.
Is it
Wow.
like? Is it really so much of a thing with people sitting on trains and stuff?
I mean, it depends from place to place. Most of the time in the North India, they do sit on the trains, but then it's not that like not many people do that in South India for sure. Because
Yeah, because that's a pretty
I don't
bad
know.
one.
Because it's
That was
dangerous.
like, I mean, I was surprised that that was actually India. I didn't know about that, but it is actually true. Like they sit all over the train. That you can't see the train at all. It's just humans.
I
It's
know.
just
I've
like
seen pictures. I'm like,
shrink wrapped
oh,
around it.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
if you're on the side, okay, like not too bad, I guess.
I
but
mean, I
that's
stand
probably.
near those.
But if you're near, where they connect together, or the front, oof. I'd
The
like.
front, yeah, I saw that picture. That's exactly when I was thinking, that's dangerous. But I mean, obviously, I assume at least the train moves slow.
Yeah.
If it moves at the speed of actual train, I don't think so. I
Yeah.
don't
You
think.
can see people like flying off as the train speeds up. It's like,
Yeah, it
oh
would
my
be like
god, that'd be
Tom Cruise
horrible.
flying the flight.
Exactly. God,
Um,
I feel so bad when I see pictures like that. I'm like
Oh,
all
I
of my
mean,
problems just
it
kind of go
doesn't.
away. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
it
their
doesn't
commute.
happen.
Yeah.
It happened once where like there are some stories like there was this lady like in the very beginning of the pandemic, she was she migrated to the North India or something, so she had to come back home, but then there was no uh, transport because of the whole COVID situation.
Oh
So
yeah.
she had a child, so she carried the child in one arm and she sat on this goods train with other arm, like she just sat in the connector's place and she drove I think 400 kilometers or something.
Wow.
Whoa.
It was mind boggling. It's like the baby, okay, it's very dangerous. She has to hold a baby in one hand and she can't move. If she leaves the thing, she'll fall down, but then she made it. I mean, it's crazy
Yeah,
to hear stories like this, but yeah,
I
it
got to
happens.
remember that the next time I'm sitting in traffic in LA, cursing it, sitting in, really, really getting angry because there's traffic in my air conditioned car by myself, listening to my smartphone, pipe in anything I want on YouTube through the speakers in a comfortable, perfect audio experience. Somehow angry that I'm sitting in traffic. Yeah, I gotta remember, woman holding baby in train connector area for 400 kilometers near death with baby. Probably in crappy, super hot or super cold environment.
Oh, I'm sure the human instinct kicks in, like just the inability to give in,
Makes
in extreme
it
I
makes
situations.
know.
it makes all the the stress we have seems so minor in front of
It
what
does.
those people go, right?
Oh God,
Uh,
it does.
and yeah, when you're talking about sitting in the air conditioned car, I study in this place called Bangalore. It's like one of the largest cities in India.
Hmm.
The traffic is insane. I think that's the most traffic place all over India,
In
maybe in
in
the world
Bangalore?
as well. In Bangalore, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's say for 30 kilometers, how long do you think it'll take to to travel 30 kilometers?
Here in LA, 30 kilometers. No traffic. Probably about 20 minutes, half hour if you speed.
With
But
traffic?
with traffic, could be anywhere from an hour to 2 hours.
Yeah, but sometimes it might take 4 hours here. Sometimes.
Whoa.
It's verging on
Uh,
walking's quicker.
Yeah.
yeah.
That at that point,
So
just ride a bike. Yeah, if you can, if you're
no, you
alone.
can't even ride a bike. You
You,
can't even move a bike.
really, it's that bad?
Sometimes, yeah, it is bad.
Whoa.
So
I can imagine a
instead of
population like that.
cursing or thinking what's happening here, I just simply sleep. I simply
Yeah.
get into the nice cab with a really with all air conditioned stuff. I'll just sleep, and he'll take me to my destination, obviously.
Hmm.
So
That's
yeah,
what I used to do.
really.
I used to have a carpool or van pool. A bunch of us, a group of us, just got together. We got a van or an SUV, and we just commute to work and then back.
Sometimes,
Because we're all in the
sometimes,
same
yeah,
area, and we just
it's.
sleep.
I mean, he'll be listening to his own music. I'll be listening to my own music. But sometimes, because I have to, I can't lose the charge in my phone because Most of the time, it's me traveling to a bus stop to get into the bus to reach my hometown, which is about 250 kilometers from Bangalore.
Mhm.
So I need the charge because I need to go back home. So I have to turn off all the way while I'm traveling.
Yeah.
So I either chat with the person or I'll just sleep.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, yeah, it's a really different experience. I don't think so I'll ever have that experience because I graduated.
I'll do the Arturo. If you
Yeah.
like what you see here and you'd like more of this, hit subscribe, hit like. It helps us and it helps you.
The tone
That,
was
that was
perfect.
really close. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really.
I'm trying, man. I didn't get close to the camera though, because I got like this big beanbag thing, and I'm like,
Oh
I'm in
yeah.
this-
You
Yeah.
need the zoom in, the quick zoom in.
I
and
need
then-
the zoom in.
Yeah.
I know. I
Hey,
need.
if you
I physically can't do that with my camera. It's another.
Maybe we can do that in
another
post, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I miss
Alright.
Arturo, man. He'll be back. He's such a cool dude.
Yeah, he came back to do the CG thing the other day. I think it was Tuesday. But they asked Tom at the end like if he had anything else he wanted to say, and he said subscribe to Curtis Holt. So then in my video just now, I put subscribe to CG Matter and Ducky 3D on like a section of it just for a laugh.
Mhm.
So yes. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's where we'll bring that recording to a close. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye, guys.